Imagine having a child and he comes up to you one day and he says to you, "Mom, I just want it to stop." What will be going through your mind? But the thing now is, what about if the child didn't feel confident enough to come over to you and actually say that, but then tell somebody else? How would that make you feel? For a lot of us, the dream of having children is one that comes with that desire to have somebody that you can protect, that little person that relies on you to make sure that you make them smile. You dream about making sure that you buy them the most expensive presents, you get them the nice shoes, and you make sure that they are always well presented when they go out there into the world. They are your mini self. And for you, if anybody could or would cause them any grief, you'll be straight out there and you'll be like, I want you to not do that. You do everything within yourself to make sure nobody out there causes them any pain. But here's the question. What about if that pain and that grief that you're trying to protect them from out there is coming from indoors? This child in question is one that was being exposed to DA. They, unfortunately, have to consistently witness their mother being bitten and bruised by her partner. Unfortunately, this partner is not the father of the eldest two, but the father of the youngest one. And if anything was to upset this guy, what he would do is take it out on mom by physically assaulting her consistently. These children would consistently watch their mom. They watch their mom not only try to wrestle out of this, but also watch their mom consistently convince them that it was okay. It was okay, he was only upset. It was okay, there was nothing to think about when it comes to what this guy was, or the harm that this guy was causing. To the point where if professionals got involved, you need to make sure you don't tell them anything happened. So not only have you got this burden of witnessing your mom go through this, you've also got to take up another responsibility of making sure that you cover up this harm that's taking place. Because if you don't, it will be your fault if you get taken away. Imagine that pressure on a child so young. So the youngest is one, started walking around, got loads of joy and loads of dream about the future, running around like nothing matters. Then you got the two eldest, 8 and 9, still hoping that one day this would stop. You've got one that is boisterous, what people would describe as boisterous, high energy, gets into loads of trouble in school, and you've got the other one that is super reserved, doesn't like to get in trouble, wants people to just appreciate him for who he is. But that's the problem. Because he's so quiet, people just assume that everything is all right with him. If something was wrong, he would tell me. And because he hasn't told me, what you're saying can't possibly be true. How about if you're this child? The person you feel should protect you looks like they need your protection. When this is going on, you almost feel as though you want to jump in. Because when you speak to him, it's like, what would you do if this sort of thing is going on? I'll try and protect mommy. The implications of this sort of thinking is that in their little mind, protection is getting in the way. But the reality is that getting in the way puts them at risk of greater harm, because at the height of this person's anger, the last thing they're thinking about is, oh, let me move you to the side so that I don't hurt you. Because if that was part of the thinking, would it be possible that they would have then thought, probably we shouldn't be arguing in front of these children, or probably we should look for different ways of resolving conflict. If your mom is constantly being called B, C, all the most beautiful language that you could possibly think about when you're trying to insult someone right in your presence. But then you've got to deal with your mom telling you everything's going to be okay. Everything's okay. It's fine. Just when you think the professionals have come in and they're going to sort it out this one time, it doesn't work. He stays away for a little bit. And just when you think that's it, he's not coming back anymore, he does. Because mom, unfortunately, falls for his charms, falls for his lies, and the cycle continues again and again and again. As a child, this is your reality. Your reality is pain, emotional torture, and being consistently let down by the people that have vowed to love and protect. You've got a network around you, and everyone and everywhere you try to go to, you're told it is the way of life. You just got to buckle up and get on with it. People fall out, people fight, people just disagree sometimes. But is that true though? Is reality about being exposed at a very young age to this level of aggression and violence? If the reality out there on the news, on the radio, on any of these social media platforms, people become outraged when it comes to allowing children to see these things. Why is it okay for your child to become a victim of this within their home? I suppose it's important to kind of highlight this, that mom is also a victim. And in mom being a victim, her ability to fully recognize the harm that this is bringing to her children is tricky, isn't it? Her ability to fully understand and appreciate the harm, because they're fed, they're clothed, they turn up to school fully well presented, they get the best presents every single time. So what else do they need? What I'll say is that they need more than just shelter, gifts, and presents of whatever kind. Children need stability. Children need love, that emotional connection that comes with being present. Because how can you be present if you can't tell from 1 minute to the next if this will be the day that he walks straight through that door, super upset, and then gives you another black eye? How can you be present if you've got to consistently be on guard? And that anxiety and pressure not only becomes your burden, but it also becomes those of the kids that you're looking after, those kids that you initially prayed and dreamed for, that no matter what happens, I will keep you safe. The world is becoming ever more chaotic, and in the past, a lot of the accusation levied on our parents was that they were never allowing children to be heard. You can be seen but not be heard. But is it possible that we are almost replying that? Because if we can park the child in front of the Xbox, the game console, whatever game console that you've got these days. You've got 20,000 of them now, isn't it? As long as they're quiet and not making any noise, is it possible that we're pretty much creating more harm than good? My plea to everyone is that we all have a duty to protect. When we see something, we've got to say something. And I think we say this about everything else, isn't it? But when it comes to protecting our kids, we don't seem to say enough. We feel upset and guilty and annoyed at the situation, but do very little because we feel like we need to mind our own business. It is not your problem. It is not my problem. These are the things we tell ourselves. And what then happens is that we end up with situations where children consistently are harmed. And we become outraged on social media. How is it possible that people let this happen? I'll tell you how. This boy's reality is how. I want it to stop. And when it doesn't, things go wrong. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Until next time, you make sure you look after yourself and you stay safe. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the other side of it and how people find themselves in situations like this when they end up being the ones placing their children at risk.